Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalaran, and in today's video, I decided to do something different. Normally with patch 9.5, there's a lot of updates on the horizon every single week, and sometimes day by day, we get new updates, new bits of information, and I feel like all of it ends up being kind of clustered. So in today's video, I want to put together a list of all the updates that are available for and coming out for patch 9.5, primarily for PvP side of World of Warcraft. Whether you're someone who is fresh new to World of Warcraft trying to get your gear, maybe you're someone who's slowly building up your rating in arenas and are trying to get past certain hurdles like 1400, 1600, 1800, or you're a player playing at the top competitive level and you're just looking for a fresh new experience, patch 9.5 so far is looking like it's going to offer a lot of new ways for us to interact with the PvP system of World of Warcraft. So let's take a look at some of the updates that are planned for now. Keep in mind that this list isn't finalized, as there's more updates coming out bit by bit, so we're going to have more stuff to take a look at towards 9.1. What are some of the aspects that you would like to see for PvP for Blizzard to implement for 9.1? Is it something clash related like buffs and nerfs, or maybe some kind of systems like solo queue for example that you would really want to see from Blizzard? Comment down in the comments below. First aspect of 9.1 that's going to change is a lot of class updates, whether it is class buffs and nerfs for PvE, but also how it'll affect things in PvP. And one of the biggest ways that Blizzard is shaking up PvP with classes is honor talents. Honor talents is a great way for Blizzard to impact how classes are performing in PvE or PvP. If let's say there are certain skills that a spec or a class is lacking, like let's say Mortal Strike effect or a healing reduction element, Blizzard can add those with honor talents, and you can modify classes without directly impacting the PvE side of the game, which creates some creative ways for players to enjoy classes within PvP specifically. But most players end up kind of sticking to 4 or 5 honor talents at most that they might use in arenas or battlegrounds, because those are the strongest honor talents and they have the most usefulness, as other ones might be way too niche or have no situations where you might need those. So refresher to either remove useless honor talents and replace them with new ones, or buff up the ones that are currently underperforming to make them a little bit more appealing, is looking like it's going to be a system by itself in PvP that could allow specs like Mystery or Monks and even Destruction Warlocks to go back to dominating the arenas and battlegrounds, where so far we don't really see those two specs nearly as often, at least in comparison to Battle for Azeroth. On this channel, we do regular updates for the honor talents and everything else looking new, and Blizzard is coming up with some really powerful options for a lot of different builds. I'm personally hoping that Blizzard allows lesser played specs that are not in the meta to become a little bit stronger. I'm not hoping that they completely shake it up and allow specs that are underperforming to be overperforming, but I do want the field to be a little bit more even and competitive, and I feel like honor talents is a great way to do that. Next aspect of PvP that's going to change in 9.1 is gear scaling. This is going to be a different kind of scaling than what you might remember of Legion or Battle for Azeroth. This scaling is going to be similar to Warlord Judgment or gear scaling, where PvP gear is going to have 2 different item levels. One item level in dungeons, raids, and open content that isn't world PvP, and the other item level is activated when war mode is active while out in the open world, or you are inside of battlegrounds or arenas. This way, PvP gear is going to be the best in PvP situations, while dungeon and raid gear should be the best gear inside of dungeons and raids. So if you're a class that never really liked PvP, but you felt like you had to because that's where your best versatility gear comes from, and even best slot pieces won't have to PvP if you choose not to. And those of you that do choose to PvP, you won't have to face against players that do Mythic Plus as well as raiders dominating you in BGs, hopefully, as you should have a clear advantage over those that do not PvP, because your gear will scale, whereas their gear will not. This scaling system is different than that of Battle for Azeroth or that of Legion, because it only scales the gear and not our classes, so it should hopefully be better than the scaling of that of BFA. However, some players did know that they kind of missed the Legion scaling, where gear didn't really matter too much in PvP. Let me know in the comments if you think Blizzard should maybe bring that back in the future. Next aspect of PvP that we'll have to talk about is no more elite weapons by the looks of it in PTR. This was a really early change, and maybe they'll change it up in the future how the elite weapon system works, but essentially the higher your rating in PvP, the better the gear that your character can purchase and upgrade to. Talking about Conquest gear, of course. So players at 1600, 1800, 2100 and 2400 could have access to different gear, except for the players at 2400 who didn't get better gear, but instead they got better weapons. And better weapons for melee classes and caster classes alike can make huge impacts in terms of your performance. further creating a bigger gap between players depending on their rating. So it looks like Blizzard is thinking of eliminating the elite weapons from PvP, as on PTR right now you can cap out your PvP gear to a maximum rank of 5 out of 5, 5th rank being 2100 rating. This essentially should help shrink the gap between the high-end and the low-end players slightly, because you won't have players at 2400 with a much better weapon in comparison to everybody else. It does take some novelty away from getting 2400, but you do have other things like tabards as well as the gladiator mount that you can earn in arenas. Some players do want for this gap between gear between the high end and the low end based on rating to shrink even further. Some players even suggested that Blizzard should remove the current rating requirement behind gear and allow everybody to grind the gear to the highest item level with honor or other resources. Let me know how you feel about that idea in the comments below. Upgrading your PvP gear as well as weekly vault PvP gear. It's a small adjustment that Blizzard is making for patch 9.1, but I think it's going to be an important one. Normally in Shadowlands Season 1, when players reach, let's say, current rating 2100, they're able to quit PvP completely and just farm conquest through battlegrounds or skirmishes, get the basic PvP gear with conquest, and then upgrade it all the way to that duelist level that they have earned in whatever bracket with honor points. In patch 9.1, Blizzard is adding stipulation that in order for you to upgrade the gear to your current bracket, so if you're a player at 2100 in 2v2s, if you want to upgrade it once the Tuesday or Wednesday reset comes around, you will have to win at least one game in that bracket in order to keep upgrading your gear to duelist. This change might increase participation, allowing players to queue more often within their own brackets instead of just sitting on the rating. And while this change will not guarantee to fix these next issues, but it could potentially fix issues of players, let's say, discovering some overpowered legendary, then using that legendary to one-shot players and win easy rating within a bracket and then just stop queuing. Or those players that pay for boosting services to get them to, let's say, 1800, meaning they would have to keep paying for boosting services in order to keep at that rating, or start actually having to play games and potentially losing them. So that, while not a guarantee to fix the issue, could potentially contribute towards helping soften it. Vicious War Spider, as of Season 1 of Shadowlands, the mount that you get for participation within RBGs, 2v2s and 3v3s, had its rating minimum lowered to 1000. Blizzard noted that they wanted this mount to be a participation mount, and they noticed quite a lot of players are hovering around 1400, struggling to get past it in order to just get the participation mount. So they're lowering it down to 1000, and most likely the next Blizzard mounts for PvP that are participation mounts are probably going to get a very similar treatment. At least I currently believe that that's what they're probably going to do, since they're doing it with this mount. So they're most likely going to make it easier for everybody to get it. So if you're someone who's looking to participate in patch 9.1, even casually, maybe just to get the mount from PvP, then it's a perfect opportunity to do so. We also have a potentially new but an interesting PvP trinket, which is definitely going to shake up the game. It's a new trinket that was data mined called Unchained Gladiator's Shackles, and with this trinket, you shackle the enemy, stunning them for 4 seconds. It seems like it's a channel trinket, as it will slow you by 50% while you are shackling the enemy, with a 3-minute cooldown. It's been a while since we actually had a trinket that stuns an enemy for a long time, and for PvP, it's definitely an interesting addition. This trinket has a lot of place for classes, in particular that don't have a stun. It's going to be interesting how many classes will actually end up using this trinket, but it definitely adds a little bit extra dynamic to the gameplay. It would allow healers an extra peeling opportunity, so while a warrior is rampaging after you with a new Ana talent to reduce the healing you do to yourself, you can stun them while walking around the pillar. That is if this trinket does make it to live, as it's only been found in the actual PTR files, but hasn't actually been used in the game in 9.1 at all. Let me know what you think about this trinket and the addition of new PvP trinkets in general in Shadowlands so far. Do you think this thing is busted, or it's actually kind of interesting looking? Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Which part of 9.1 is the most exciting for you when it comes to PvP? Thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you guys enjoyed, and as always, I'll see all of you guys in another video.